Young and restless, how to be bold and brave. We've got 4 people, and I'm going to call them on stage one by one. And each one of them has a common theme. You couldn't possibly choose 4 people from more disparate walks of life, as it were. And you'll see what I mean when they all come up on stage. The first person is a man associated with founding a company that became a household name for writable CDs. Everyone had those in their house. Mosa Bear, everyone knows that name, right? But then CDs went out of style. Nobody really uses compact discs anymore as a storage device because now you've got flash drives, memory sticks, pen drives, that sort of thing. So he completely reinvented a company based on its core competencies. Business Today, which is from the India Today group, named him among India's top 21 leaders way back in 2007, and he continues to hold a very exalted position in terms of his reputation as a business leader who's always been brave and always innovated. I'd like to call on stage first Chairman of Hindustan Powerprojects Private Limited, formerly Mosa Bear, Ratul Puri. Put your hands together for Ratul Puri, please. Our next person on stage is a person you've seen in the news recently. He had a stint with Bollywood, but now he's reinventing himself as a politician. There's been talk about an alliance that blew out of the Congress, and the wind blew it towards the NDA. He's a young politician. Everyone's been chasing him for a soundbite, and he's a person who everybody wants to speak to right now because they believe that if he couldn't do it in Bollywood, maybe he could do it in politics. He's reinvented himself. Ladies and gentlemen, Chirag Paswan. How many musicians can actually say that they invented a musical instrument? It's amazing. I mean, a person who actually sits down and says, I don't want to play any of these instruments, I want to make my own, and then become a master at it. Very few people who can actually do that. Niladri Kumar has become a man who's associated with a certain sound in the world of fusion music, and it's a sound that's only associated with him. You've heard his interludes in music created by A.R. Rahman, by Pritam, by others. He's performed with jazz greats like John McLaughlin, with Ranveer Singh. He's considered one of the greatest persons with the Sitar and the Sitar, which is the instrument that he invented. And you're going to hear some of that amazing stuff in just a bit. Ladies and gentlemen, Niladri Kumar. And finally, the last man on stage is a person who was defined by a very small incident, and I crave your indulgence just to describe what happened. I was anchoring a news show about something very serious. It was about corruption. And this person happened to be standing a short distance away from me. And it was something very serious. It was corruption and something that was supposed to happen in Parliament. And the man you're about to see on stage right now actually walked into the frame behind me and started waving and clapping. And people say that, it's a cliche that Ranveer Singh has a lot of energy. But that's what he did when I was anchoring. And I later played a joke on him saying that it was something really sensitive and, people are really angry about it on Twitter, and he got really scared. But then cliches are cliches for a reason. Ranveer Singh, ladies and gentlemen.
कहलाता है हरी बातें को जितना जिसे आता है निकलेंगे मैदान में जिस दिन हम झूम के धरती डोलेगी ये कदम चूम के निकलेंगे मैदान में जिस दिन हम झूम के धरती डोलेगी ये कदम चूम के वो सिकंदर ही दोस्तों कहलाता है
Anju Modi, I love you.
जो सब करते हैं यार
That comes later. Okay.
Hello, I'm sorry.
Ranveer, you will get your turn. You know that. Okay, so we're going to go in the order that I called the gentlemen on stage, if Ranveer allows me, that is. And all of these gentlemen, brave, restless, breaking the mold, moving away from tradition. And I'm going to stay faithful to that order. So, Ratul, if you could come up here and speak a few words, and then we'll get into it.
Well, firstly, Shiv, thank you very much for having me here. Thank you to the India Today group. I don't know whether the term bold and young and restless describes me, but you know, when I heard the theme of this panel discussion, the first thing I actually thought about was young and restless perfectly describes India. I think that's where we are today. When we look at the last few years, I think there's been tremendous amount of restlessness in this country. There's been there are a lot of young in India. It's more than 60% of India is under 40 years of age, and that I think is driving and creating restlessness in the country. And I was trying to think of what's driving this, what's creating restlessness, and part of it I think is simply because there's suddenly much more awareness, there's greater aspirations, and I think the tremendous exposure to the social media, the tremendous exposure to televisions. I mean, 200 television channels, so many newspapers, Facebook, Twitter, is suddenly creating awareness. And people out in rural India, the urban youth, suddenly they've become aware of what's happening in Bombay, they've become aware of what's happening in New York, and that's creating aspirations. And those aspirations, I think, can be a great opportunity for this country. It can help drive us and get us to become the second or the third largest economy in the world over 10, 20 years, or it can create huge challenges for us. I think many of the challenges we faced over the last 10, 15 years, whether it's Naxalism, terrorism, has been driven by the fact that we haven't created enough jobs over the last 10, 20 years to be in a position to be able to deliver to this youth employment opportunities. If I just look at myself, I think, I don't know whether I would describe myself as being young and restless. I certainly would not. But I'm certainly aspirational. I came back from university in the United States and joined the family business, and certainly wanted to grow it. I think one of my passions always is to try to drive everything to the best that I can, to try to create something which stands out. So, you know, the aspiration always was we want to be the largest in the world, or produce products that have the best quality. And, you know, I think we managed to drive that across Mozambique over the 10 years while I was there. I think we drove the organization to becoming, you know, the second or the third largest producer of optical media in the world. And, you know, by about 2005, 2006, I thought optical media and technology wouldn't be able to drive at least my aspirations on an ongoing basis. And that's when actually infrastructure interested me. I think one of the biggest challenges India is going to face over the next 10, 20, 30 years is infrastructure. If we can solve two things, infrastructure and skilling, I believe India can achieve its economic potential. So I took a foray into infrastructure, and there were many naysayers. I think everyone I spoke to said, you know, it's a terrible area to venture into. It's got a lot of challenges. This was 2008, 2009. I think the start of the difficulties in infrastructure, the difficulties of infrastructure had already started off. And but I think we doggedly stayed behind it, and you know, I believe that we have managed to chart a path out through the difficulties in the infrastructure space. I think that's my gong telling me that I should move away, but thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Probably the longest Ranveer has ever stayed quiet and looked serious. But just a few more minutes, Ranveer. Can I call on stage Chirag Paswan, please?
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I really want to thank India Today Group for having me here today. I'll try hard to be politically correct, but then when I say this, young and restless, I am young. I'm young compared to a lot of other politicians that we have today. Still, I'm trying hard to be politically correct. But yes, and I'm restless, extremely restless about the fact the way Indian system is shaping up. There's so many youngsters. For me, the actual reason of coming into politics, besides whatever they say that one Shwad and stuff, but besides that, the fact is, I really want to do a lot for the youngsters of India, especially in my state, Bihar, where almost 60% of them are below the age of 25. And each and every political party has been neglecting them. Is the reason why I come forward, is the reason why I really want to work for them, whether it's concerning their jobs, it's concerning their education, it's concerning their health facilities and stuff. A lot needs to be done in India, but especially in Bihar. I'm a Bihari is the reason why I talk more about Bihar. So that's my vision. I really want to get the Samman of Bihar back. I really want to work for the youngsters there. And yeah, I mean, I won't take much of the time before the bank goes. I just want to thank you all for having me here. And as the session proceeds, I'll put my views forward. Thank you all for having me here. Thanks.
I don't think I need to introduce you anymore, Niladri, but everyone sees that red thing by your side, so bring it over here. Sure, yeah. What you could also do is you could come here, say something, and then you could go back there, if you like. Yep.
I'll play you a riff from one of the movie tracks that I did many years back called Dhoom 2, Crazy Kiare. But it's not so crazy. But from Crazy Kiare, I'm going to go into the music that I learned, which is Indian classical music. But you have to see how I'm trying to weave in both. Let's see if it works. Sometimes it does, most of the times it doesn't.
Ranveer, Ranveer, you can either pick up that mic and do your thing from there, or you can come here.
सर, आपका बदला कभी खत्म नहीं होगा. Don't ever mess with a guy with handlebars, is the moral of the story. Sir, is it my turn? May I speak, even though I have nothing intelligent to say? From here, from there? Okay, wait. First things first.
राम जी की चाल देखो, आंखों की मचाल देखो.
No chance, baby, no chance. The ominous sound. You know what? It reminds me of this movie from the 90s. I grew up in the 90s. Tehelka. Do you remember that movie? Do you remember Amrish Puri, the legendary, inimitable, and irreplaceable? Dong kabhi wrong nahi hota. Do you remember? Anywho, so yeah, but what am I doing here? I must begin with, you know, I entered the most magnificent India Today office in Delhi for a promotional tour that we were doing, and I saw all these wonderful pictures of achievers on the wall holding that little red thing, and I had the privilege of being escorted up to the main office, to Mr. Puri's office, and I said, "Ek din, sir, ek din, मेरा थोपड़ा आपके दीवार पे चिपकाया जाएगा." So, that's what you get for being young and restless, or high-strung and reckless. Either way. Listen, it's a real privilege for me to be here. Thank you for inviting me. Most wonderful people to be sharing a space with. I don't know what to say myself. I mean, if you would oblige me by asking me a few questions, that would maybe start me off. But, sir, किसकी मजाल नहीं आपके साथ gong बजाने की? Sir, you had her mesmerized. She forgot she had to do it. She forgot she had to bajao it. आपने इसकी बजा दी, sir. Oh. Hey, Koyal, relax, yeah, Koyal, yeah. Just relax, buddy. Just because you get Bollywood double entendres. Mr. Paswan, the most good-looking politician in India, ladies and gentlemen, give it up. The only dashing, dapper-looking guy with light eyes that you should trust. Oh, Sharma gaya hai. But I'm glad he's gone. Yeah, there's more space in Bollywood for me. But what we do need back, and I would strongly ask you guys to please back me up on this, is the infrastructure that Moza Bear has plucked out of our Hindi film industry. Why so, sir? Do you not like the movies we're making, sir? Sir, we need you back. Please come back, sir. Please.
After all your persuasion today, especially backstage and out over here, I'm going to really consider it. You have me there.
Acha, why did you leave, sir?
Honestly, lost too much money.
आपने मुझे नहीं लिया ना, sir. मुझे नहीं लिया. मुझे ले लेते तो खैर. We will welcome you back with open arms and open pockets, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Please come. We need you. We could use a little sprightly infrastructure, more exhibitors, more movies being made. More movies are made, better movies will get made.
As you can see, Ranveer is moderating the session now.
He'll never forgive me for that, huh? I know he gave you a little narration, but anyway, so this, let me tell you what exactly happened and why he's being so mean to me today. Okay? So he's standing and giving us a bite into camera, and then this happened. And then that's terrible. And what's really terrible is this, which is more terrible than the last thing I said. And it's damn bloody terrible. And he's being damn serious. And I was on a promotional tour, 21 days on the road, you know, at some point delirium sets in. My brother-like friend Ali Zafar is in a hospital now. That's the toll promotions took on him. Soul selling of artists is the promotional spree that we do these days. It really sucks the life force out of an artist. But anyway, on my promotional tour, and quite delirious, and I see him giving his bite into camera, and he's being very serious, very, very serious. And there's a very serious issue, a very, very serious issue, and I'm in the back. He already had his revenge. He came up to me and he was like, I hope you know, we were speaking about this sensitive subject, and now you're going to look like a fool.
We can keep going on all day, Ranveer, but what you haven't told people is how scared you were when I told you that it was a very sensitive subject. Okay. Now, since I have the moderating mic back, I'd like to put my first question actually to Niladri and then to Chirag. Niladri, it's a really difficult industry that you work in. You know, there are thousands of people making music. There are young people everywhere in the country making music. How do you break the mold? I mean, you know, you've invented a musical instrument. What would you say to people out there who are making music but not really going anywhere, not becoming famous? Because at the end of the day, lots of people say, you know, we want to make music for the sake of music, but fame is a nice thing.
Well, I think to answer that, the only thing I can think of what I did was I really didn't try to break anything. I just wanted to find my own voice. I just wanted to find what I can do best from all the heritage and the knowledge and the tradition that I had backing me up, or rather I was born with. And how could I utilize all that to present it to the new generation? It's like this music was a little bit like speaking in English, learning to know how to speak in English. Because, as you know, the sitar, the traditional instrument, will always retain that charm and that greatness and that value to it. It's just that to try and open new doors and windows and AC ducts, if need be, but you just had to speak the language of today's generation and try and communicate to them in a voice, in a sound which is acceptable, which is known to them. You speak that language and you give your own poetry. The poetry is Indian. So if you hear it very minutely, the sound might be very modern and contemporary. But the poetry, the beauty of the music lies in the poetry that is there, which is very traditional, which is very classical. So I tried to do that. And as you rightly said, there are so many people trying to...
Is there something you can show us on your sitar?
I just did.
That would somehow sort of convey the idea of winning, the theme of today's
winning
conclave, through sound. Anything you like.
Provided he gives me good sound. I did a sound check. What happened to it? Sir, aapki ijazat ke saath.
Ranveer, feel free to like jam and pitch in and stuff.
So it's about winning, right? Hello. I'll play you two tunes about winning. I grew up as a teenager in Mumbai like everybody else. And winning was about being a maverick. And the only maverick I knew that time was the Tom Cruise kind in Top Gun. Yeah? So that was one kind of winning. And then the other winning was about the way being Indian and being proud of it. So I'll play you both the tunes. I don't know if it's about winning or losing, but it's up to you.
Niladri, that was definitely not about losing. Chirag, I'd like to bring you in right now. I read in a recent interview, and I want to give everybody else a chance to ask questions as well, but I want to ask Chirag that you said in a recent interview that it was a childhood dream to be in the movies. And, you know, you acted in a film, didn't do very well, you've reinvented yourself, now you're looked at, like Ranveer said, as this young face entering politics right now. Is politics all about opportunism? Because in the few days that you've been in the limelight politically, people have said, you know, you've been bounced out from the Congress and now you're heading towards the NDA. It's not been very friendly for you.
I knew that one's coming towards me only. I've been facing the heat for the past quite couple of days. But the first part of your question, yes, Bollywood was a dream. I wanted to be there. But if you remember, even then also I maintained it very strongly that eventually it's going to be politics, because that's something that comes very, very naturally to me. I had a very short affair with movies, and I thought I had some more time to give there to the industry, but somehow things shaped up in a way that I had to enter politics. I was honestly just covering up for my father's absence in a couple of the meetings and the rallies there, and before I could honestly realize, I was very actively into politics. But having said it all, now coming to the second part of it, opportunism. No. This was something, the recent alliance that you've been talking about, this was something I was very, very clear that we should go ahead with it. But then our national president was very, very clear that we should continue with the existing alliance, the UPA, that we were the part of it. And till very last minute, he tried hard that we should go ahead with that alliance. But somehow there was no clarity over the alliance. And see, ours is a small regional party. We have to understand the fact. Ours is not a national party that we can take a last-minute call. So it's very important for our leaders, for our cadres, to have a clarity over the alliance. And it was only after, when all our senior leaders, our cadres, unanimously, they were saying that it's high time that we should go ahead with the BJP, is the reason why our national president took this decision. And if you call it to being opportunistic, had that been the case, our national president would have taken this call much before, he wouldn't have waited for this long. But it was only respecting the suggestions of our national leaders, all our cadres, was when he took this decision.
Ranveer, is Bollywood a club? Chirag's, out of Bollywood into politics. How much of a club is it? How much help did you get? Do you get any help at all?
Hello, check. What club? What club? There is no club. There is no building. There is no secretary. There is no bearer. There is no soft drink even. What club? I don't want to be a member of this club. It's not a club, yeah.
Basically, he's not going to answer the question.
What do you mean? It's not a club. It's a hustling, bustling industry that I'm still coming to grips with. It's a jungle out there, and you find all kinds of animals, right, Koel? Yeah, she's met a few of them. So yeah, I'm still coming to grips with it. It's completely new to me. No, I did not get any help. I got advice from some of my friends who were already working in the industry at the time when I was struggling, namely Shad Ali, whose movie I'm doing right now, Shanu Sharma, who's YRF's casting director. And they always give me good advice. How to play my odds, not short sell, keep hustling, and wait for that golden opportunity. And it came, I just got lucky. But no, there wasn't really any help forthcoming. Just had to make your way. And put yourself in a position where if that lucky wave comes along, you have to ride it. And fortunately for me, it did come along. And did I ride it or what?
Ranveer, the language everyone is speaking right now is political, and I want to bring in Ratul after this. Arvind Kejriwal, Narendra Modi, Rahul Gandhi, it's the narrative everywhere you look right now, not just on the news. So do you have political views? What do you think about the people occupying mind space politically right now?
Let me jog my memory back to when I joined Facebook in 2004, when I was in a university in America. And one of the criteria of filling in your profile was political views. And there was liberal and there was conservative. And I picked, and very rightly so, apathetic. I think that answers your question. I am an artist. I don't want to have, at least at this stage of my life, with all due respect, anything to do with politics. I hate politics, in all honesty. I don't know. I find it damn murky, yeah.
You hate politicians?
At every level, even at a personal level. Even when I'm on the dance floor, when you're at a party and you're at the dance floor, there's dance floor politics. Does anybody know about dance floor politics? So when I'm on the dance floor at a party, I'm actually dragged down and I have to engage myself in dance floor politics, which / also known as space politics. So if you're in a crowded party and you're on the dance floor and you need your space to dance, sometimes there's no place because everybody's packed in like sardines. So then you have to come up with moves to create space. So then you start slowly, and then the arms become larger. And if you see a hole here, if you see a space hole, just make a dance move over there. Yeah. So now I have this much space. Now I can dance in this much space. So the only politics I engage in is dance floor politics. Because, buddy, I need my space on the dance floor.
Ratul, you're a businessman. Profit, You've got a business to run. You've reinvented it. You don't have the luxury of being as indifferent, perhaps, as Ranveer has the luxury to be at this stage to politics. What do you think about what's happening right now? There's talk of change. There's this wave of, hostility in the political space right now. As a businessman and a young businessman, people would love to know what you think about what's going on.
Firstly, I don't want to take away from the gaiety that that Ranveer has put on the stage.
I love your choice of words, like gaiety.
So firstly, I believe, and I heard Mr. Sibal speak today, and I believe, India has seen over the last 10 years, the largest economic expansion that this country has seen since independence. I personally believe that the challenges that we are facing today are not necessarily rooted in corruption, not rooted in indecision, but rooted in the fact that interest rates were raised aggressively were lowered aggressively post the global economic crisis. The lowering of those interest rates resulted in, and there was tremendous amount of money that was pumped into the economy. Public sector banks were told to lend. That started a cycle that delayed the effects of the global economic crisis in India. And now we are seeing the withdrawal of that and the challenges that come out of it. I personally believe that India needs, going forward, a stable government. I don't think I care whether it's a Congress or a BJP, but I think India needs a stable government. And I think with inflation easing out, I think we've seen inflation starting to ease out, whichever government comes in next will actually have a good platform to build and drive growth in the country. I personally have a view on corruption. I don't know whether it's right or wrong. Corruption is certainly a challenge, but I believe this over-obsession we have developed over the last 2 years around corruption, the shrill rhetoric that is there around corruption is actually hurting us. It's hurting us tremendously because it's driving indecision in the country. Nobody wants to make any decisions because they say, if I make a decision today, someone will tomorrow point the finger at me, they'll send the CBI after me. And I think we are hurting ourselves as a nation. I think as a nation, we need rapid economic growth. We've got, if you look at this session, we've got 60% of this country is below 40 years of age. We've got to create 300 million jobs over the next 30 years. That's 10 million jobs a year. We're not even creating a third of that today. So if we don't do something, I think we have the risk that we're going to go down the path of what we've seen with the Arab Spring, what we've seen with with fundamentalism coming in, because we need to provide an idle mind is a devil's workshop. I think we're going to drive and create a lot of challenges for ourselves. So I sincerely hope whichever government comes in, I hope it's a government that's got 200 plus seats, can create alliances and form the government and provide us stability, because I think that's what everyone is looking for. Look at the stock markets. I think everyone's right now predicting that. So the stock markets are reflecting that today.
16th of May is when we'll know for sure, hopefully. Okay, I've been very selfish and taken all the first 6 or 7 questions to myself. So any questions from the audience for any of the 4 gentlemen on stage?
Hello? Chef?
Yeah.
Chef? Hello? Hello? Yeah. Yes. Hello, yeah. Here, this way.
Yeah, go ahead.
While Mr. Chirag Paswan is very optimistic that it's a young country where 60% of the Yuvas are below 25, I don't know how to react when a youngster sitting on the panel says, I hate politics. So what kind of future are we going towards? So Mr. Paswan will convince Mr. Ranveer to join politics, or Mr. Ranveer will tell Mr. Paswan why he is not interested in politics?
Look, it's a personal choice. Like Mr. Paswan, it was my childhood dream to be in movies, and I've just started out. I'm so excited and enthused by the fact that I have this amazing opportunity. Literally, I used to daydream about being a Hindi film hero, and now I have that opportunity. So for me, it's all-consuming. My day, my world begins and ends with the art of cinema, with movies, with music. I am consumed by the arts. So it's quite a personal choice. And there's too much happening in my life right now for me to, have any amount of mental space to devote to any other subject. So it is a personal choice. It's a very personal thing. I'm sure in a few years, I hope to God that I grow up and And when I have, you know, had a sufficient amount of time fulfilling my artistic desires and endeavors to some extent, then hopefully I will have the mental space to, you know, venture out and look at other things. But for me right now, I'm pretty much consumed by my art.
Okay, we've got time
I want to add to this that, see, ours is a democratic country, you know. Whether we hate it, whether we love it, but we cannot ignore the system. We cannot go in for an anarchy, you know. Whatever concerns that Ratul is having for his industry, or for that matter, Ranveer is having for his industry, it's very important, as Ratul said, it's very important for our country to have a stable government, for the financial security, for the social stability. It's very important for us to believe in the system. Whether we hate it or we love it, that's debatable. But you have to believe in the system. If you don't like a lot of things, like I didn't like a lot of things, you know, in politics, you know, but I entered into it. It's very easy for an outsider to stand outside the fence and to comment, you know. But if you have so many issues, if you have so many problems, then be the part of the system. As I'm being the part of the system, there are a lot of things which I don't like about politics. I don't like the vote bank politics. I don't like how they you know, divides us between region, religion, and all these things. I don't like that. When I go to back my state, there's a lot of jati system there. To be very honest, the politics of Bihar is governed by the caste scenario there, you know, which I don't like. For me, it's my only problem is the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer. I want to remove that gap. So it's very important for each and everyone, especially the youngsters, to believe in the system and to contribute and participate, you know, in whatever manner that you can. Then only you can have a stable and a good government.
Yeah, Ranveer's going to dance, you're going to play. And the theme is, Niladri, ideate, debate, celebrate. That's your brief. Now you're going to bring the session to a close. Ideate, debate, celebrate. Celebration. I don't hate anything. Debate. I love debate. So play.
It's great entertainment. Sir, the theme of winning, you know what my theme of winning was? Chariots of Fire, Vangelis. Huh? How we copied it, na, nicely. Sir, can you play it? Ta 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 ta. And then, okay, by the way, it is Vangelis. Dun, 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 heading towards the finish line. Euphoria. Dun, 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 dun. Cut to our film industry in a swimming pool. मैं तेरी हूँ जानम, तू मेरा जिया. And Kabir Bedi standing on the poolside in his spandex skivvies. Love it. Sir, only you can take us there. Only you can take us there. मैं तेरी हूँ Hello.
Electric instrument. If you unplug it, only I can hear. Even I can't hear. Can you switch off the monitor and just give the PA? Can you switch off the monitor?
What is that sound effect, yeah? मैं तुम्हारे बच्चे की माँ बनने वाली हूँ.
सर कुछ इंडिया स्पेसिफिक करते हैं. शब्द इंडिया, रंगे बसंती टाइप.
रंगे बसंती टाइप?
जो आपके मन में है, जो आपके दिल में है, जो आपके दिल में आए. मैं आपको पिकअप फ्रॉम दिस.
अभी साउंड देंगे तब तो पिकअप करो. I'm sorry, there's a...
Can we just try one last time to sort that sound out, then we'll wrap up.
I think it's a
Okay. Okay, ठीक है. यार, what about that song that played at the top from जो जीता वही सिकंदर? और दूसरी पोजीशन में मॉडल स्कूल के संजय लाल शर्मा and Kulbhushan Karbanda standing on the sidelines. Buck up, Sanju! Buck up! Cut to Lagan, where he's sitting across the Angrez, and he's like, Hum tumko dugna lagan dega. So Mr. Karbanda then, and he offers him some pork sausages or something, and Mr. Karbanda's character gets very offended, you know, at the pork sausages. He's not upset that we've been colonized and he's sucking the life force out of our country, but these pork sausages, he looks him dead in the eye and says, I am a vegetarian. And that's it. He's had it. So he goes up to Bhuvan and says, Dhajiyan uda do in Angrezon ki. Okay, so since we have to do something about this technical situation, why don't we have that song, yeah? Yahan ke hum Sikandar chahe to on one condition, Mr. Paswan, just for old time's sake, you'll get up and shake a leg with me, you promised? Show them what you got, baby. Come on.
ये गलियां अपनी ये रास्ते अपने कौन आएगा अपने आगे राहों में हमसे टकराएगा जो हट जाएगा वो घबरा के यहाँ के हम सिकंदर चाहे तो रख ले सबको अपनी जेब के अंदर पर हमसे पंगा मत लेना मेरी जान नहीं समझे हैं वो हमें
Ladies and gentlemen, Ranveer Singh, Ratul, Puri, Chirag, Paswan and Niladri Kumar. Big hand, please.
A big hand, ladies and gentlemen. That was a great, great session. I would request all four gentlemen, Ratul, Ranveer, Niladri and Chirag, to stay on stage while I call upon Sahil Malik, MD Milano, to come up on stage and give a small token of our appreciation for this session. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, that was entertaining. Can we please have a big round of applause?